Can we start with me real quick?
want
Not my preview.
Okay.
Just the thing of I said it about Outlaws, but especially for us watching this feed, you got to go back. You got to go back because my first note is gorgeous. From it was on a theater screen and it was like, holy shit. I came back and I was talking to you guys about it. I'm like, is this next gen or current gen only? It's gorgeous. This game looks so fucking good.
And was it?
We were in the room, we're unsure, and I haven't verified. I forget.
Oh, okay.
So I want to go around the table real quick and just get some thoughts on what we saw before we get into Greg's preview, where he got to see some more behind closed doors type stuff.
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted to see, similar to the Star Wars showcase. I would not have expected to, after being so impressed by what we saw with Star Wars, then showcase ends and be like, wow, I was more impressed by what I saw with Assassin's Creed, especially with my history with Assassin's Creed.
Current gen only.
Never being super into Assassin's Creed as a franchise and always kind of falling off because possible story things that just kind of uninterest me or whatever. But the talk about the changing seasons and how that's going to dramatically change the whole visuals of the world, along with always having that day and night cycle.
They also mentioned with that, I don't know if you all caught it, but they said with the changing seasons in winter, you'll have something ice freezing over on the lakes, and so you can't dive underwater during winter.
So cool.
Versus other seasons.
I feel like I failed in talking about that in our predictions because that was the article that IGN came out with a couple months ago. They talked about all of this stuff, and that's what I was excited to see. It was if they could actually pull that stuff off in the showcase that they had, and I feel like they showed off some real cool shit that I think they're gonna pull off.
Yeah, the movement, the combat, this changing of characters, deciding what character to go with in certain situations, and just seeing her moveset matched against Yasuke's moveset, this big brooding dude with just that whatever bat is with all those spikes is going to be so destructive, and then to see this sort of contrast to how her moveset is and how slick and fast everything's gonna look. I really enjoyed the moment of being underwater and sticking out the little straw and getting some air while you're underwater. Awesome. All of that stuff was just super impressive. I can't wait for it. I'm really shocked by how well it showed and the amount of things and variety that we saw in that showcase.
Yeah, really excited. I mean, this was another great deep dive from this team. We knew these were the two that we were going to go really in depth on, and this is still a ways away, right? Star Wars is right around the corner. I didn't think we'd go that deep on a game that's 2 months out, but it is cool to see a lot of Assassin's Creed here, and it looked great. I do have some questions about gameplay. As someone who plays the Assassin's Creed franchise for a lot of the locomotion and the parkour, I was worried about the male character Yasuke and what is that going to look like? Because we saw, and that's why I'm excited for Greg to talk, because we did see the stealth parkour at the end, but we didn't see him get up on a fence line and just start running, right? It definitely felt more like, hey, I'm kind of just lugging around, and that's not what I'm coming to Assassin's Creed for. I think that's going to be a tough blend of the balance, which we'll talk to Greg in just a moment, but that's what I need to know more of for me.
I mean, I'm coming for this for a feudal Japan cool story. That's what I want.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at too. I think for me going into this one, I was more excited for the Yasuke stuff, just for I think that's a really interesting character. The idea of this dude's coming from Africa, he's going to be in Japan as a samurai, and this big dude among a bunch of people, right? And for me, I was more locked into this after watching this gameplay breakdown. I'm actually way more invested on the gameplay level, at least for Naoe. Seeing the stealth gameplay, seeing her sneak in and have all these different tools, seeing her hide underwater and swim through it and then use the little thing to get air. There's so much here that seems so cool, that seems awesome, and it really speaks to the stealth game lover in me, right? And it's doing so much for me. I think I think this is going to be the one, like Andy keeps saying, right? I think this one might prove Greg wrong in terms of bringing me into Assassin's Creed. At least I hope so. I'm liking everything I'm seeing here.
I don't have much to add. I just want to say I feel like they did such a great job showing off Call of Duty Black Ops 6 a couple days ago. Yesterday.
Yeah.
And such a good job showing off Assassin's Creed Shadows now that I'm just impressed that for games that we kind of are just like, oh, it's another one or whatever, being able to showcase things and have us be like, oh, or updates for the hardcore people of the little details and changes and stuff. I think that's very, very hard to do. I definitely think they pull it off here. People are sold on this. But Greg, I need to ask if you're sold on this. You got to see more Assassin's Creed Shadows than even we got to see down at Summer Games Fest. What did you think?
Incredibly impressed. And yes, I'm sold on it. Yes, I'm in. This is what I wanted from an Assassin's Creed in Japan, right? I think, to temper expectations or to my own excitement for it. Like I said, I came in ready to be blown away by this one, and I left blown away by Outlaws, right? This one's great, but I feel like the more I saw of it, the more I was like, oh, it's Assassin's Creed. And of course it's going to be Assassin's Creed, but I talk so much of like, I'd really like to see the style. I'd really like to see this. Them going to the all white screen, kind of brush strokes, cut, red blood. That's awesome. I want more of that. We were seeing text pop up on the side in a vertical column, and I was like, okay, do more of that. But I think even just glancing at this screen right now, it's like, okay, yeah, it's Assassin's Creed, right? They're not really, I'm not getting the vibe that it's going to be dramatically different in terms of what I'm looking and what I'm seeing and how it's going. That's fine. I'm great with that because what they have here is amazing. You said it, Tim, of like, this showed so well and was such a great showcase of it, right? The behind closed door stuff for it showed even more, and I wouldn't say even better, but I think it's proof that Ubisoft and the team know they've got this stuff. Because what it was is I saw everything you just saw. I saw behind closed doors, and then I saw the exact same mission 2 different ways. And so what they did here is obviously what you're about to see as Barrett continues to play off of the choices going is Naoe going in at night and doing that, right? After that, they were like, all right, let's go the Yasuke way, right? Cool. And they were like, so, you choose him. He says something different. The dialogue's different. You start off. And they were talking about, and I wrote it down right, every fight is a thrilling duel as Yasuke. That's the point of this, right? He's got posture attacks, all these different abilities from that. But it's the idea they said that he can't climb rooftops like her. I don't know if that means he can't climb, period, or he's just not as agile or whatever. They didn't go into it. They just said he can't climb rooftops like her, right?
He can, but he's like, I don't want to do that.
Shit,
Come on.
Instead, it is like a samurai movie, right? Of you are walking into town and everyone goes, oh, like into the base, and they go, oh shit, it's him.
Like in Ghost when you call out to people and you're like, hey, let's fucking fight.
So you are taking the main path and dudes are like, oh fuck, and they run up on you and you get into that sword fight with them and you fucking straight up behead them or hit them with the giant stick and do, you're beating the shit out of them, but it's brutal and it is anchored. And I think if I'm going to talk about something that surprised me with it, it was how fun he looks to play. I thought I am the assassin. I am the Batman. I want to be up in the shadows and doing all that. Watching the demo, even you saw with the oranges, and this is where I'm telling you got to go watch it in 4K. Watching, you smash the dude, the oranges spill out everywhere and like things are exploding. The bamboo reeds are falling. Like watching him fuck people up. I was like, damn, this is giving me that Ghost vibe of like, there's going to be the night where I want to go do this. And something they pointed out is you see the choice here. They were very clear in the top of the demo, right? Of like most of the game, you have the option of who you want to play.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. This year is going by so quickly. I'm literally getting married this month, so I know all about that. When life goes so fast, it's important to take a moment to celebrate your wins and make adjustments to the rest of your year. Therapy can help you take stock of your progress and set achievable goals for the next 6 months. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny.
Yes, there will be character-specific missions, obviously, for the story, but they said most of it is who you want to be. So you really can go through there, experiment with skill trees, and figure out what you want to do. I'm stoked about that. You joked about it or made the reference earlier of him running through walls. Like, that is 100% real. Where it is like, they show it in the clip or one of the montages, I think, of him smashing through the wall. But that is what you did in this mission, where you went and you would just break fucking down doors. You would smash through that. Yeah. And then it was like to get to the final guy where it was like, she snuck in and came in through the water and used the reed. He just got to a point when, and just went like fucking Hulk. And then came out. The guy's like, what the fuck? And like all the dudes came and they killed the dudes. And then the guy just sat there and begged for his life. Like he didn't try to fight you. He didn't try to run. He was like, I'm fucked. And he he got killed and assassinated in a different way with the
Our
whole thing.
tallest dude is 5'10", man. We can't fight this guy.
This guy, looking like the Abomination running through Harlem or whatever.
Did you get to see any of the season stuff?
No. So they showed that and they talked about it as much as you guys did, but no actual, hey, let's go through that. Cool. We saw a lot of Rain, which I think is this demo, right? Had Rain as well. Rain was a big part of it and showing how that is. One of my questions for it, especially when they were with Naue, right? It was the idea of like playing with shadows and taking out the light. It distracts the guy in the demo you see here, but they made it sound like it would be harder to see you and this, that, the other. And so you can fill in the gaps there, but I'm interested to see what that actually is a difference too, of like, if I can take out everything, if it's like Sam Fisher and moving on it. But then again, they were like, cool, you've seen it the Yasuke way, right? Let's go and do Naue. Am I saying that right? Naue. Let's do it Naue, but let's do it in broad daylight, and let's do it not the stealth approach.
Oh, okay.
And so this was similar to, they jumped over walls and stuff, but it was her basically katana out the whole time, and she holds it fucking super sick. Like she holds it like this with like, so it's like when fucking Snake's walking around with the gun and the knife, she's holding it like that, and she slicing motherfuckers up. And then it was like, let's engage people in the same way and show the different fight styles, right? Again, Yasuke, samurai, sitting there. He's going to be parrying. He's going to be power attacking. He's going to be pushing you off. She was all about the dodge roll behind everybody, get all over. And then it was you don't have it with, it's because you're using this weapon right now. And I guess you never use the katana in this, right? But it was cool of, over there on the R2 in true Assassin's Creed fashion, right? You have all these different moves you're going to have attached to it, right? One of the ones she had was this like, look like a bunch of different slices. And you're like, oh, she's gonna slice the guy up and do whatever. What it is that when she went up against armored enemies, you could use it and you go, and you would cut the armor. It cut the armor at the fabric points so the armor would fall away and then you get to fight the guy. I was like, that's fucking really cool, right? Obviously, I think she'll be the one that I fight and do. I won't be doing that a lot, I would imagine. I want to be stealthy as shit. I still think I'll play the majority of the game her way, but I am at least... Coming in, I was like, oh man, I don't think I'm ever going to want to be Yasuke. Watching him, like, I definitely want to try. I definitely want to try that and see what that's like.
Exciting.
Yeah.
This is really, really cool.
Yeah. Love it. Let's see if we got any more super chats here.
Greg, did they talk about, before they went into the mission here, they let you choose between Yasuke and or Naue? Is that every mission? Did they talk about that? Is that only certain missions?
Like I said, they say you can play most of the game with whoever you want.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I would imagine that if it's going to get to a main story mission off of a main beat like that, you'll have... I think if they're going to come together and talk before something, I think you have it, yeah.
And I think, chat corrects me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Syndicate was like that, where there's like main missions where you could either choose Jacob or Evie, but then there were some main missions where it was like, no, you're playing as Evie for this one. No, you're playing as Jacob for this one.
Another question I have, and I was offered an interview, but bailed to go play other games that I can't talk about yet. I'm interested to see how they play with time of day and how they play with weather and seasons, because it all sounds great, but like in that choice of who do you want to play with, like she was like, it's all in the demo you all saw, it's almost nighttime, I'll take it. And it went night. When they did it as day, I don't know how they would have chosen to do it as day versus that. And in the same way, I'm like, and granted, I know sitting and waiting is not something new in video games, but I wonder if it'll be, I want to go do it and I want to do it here. And then can it be that like, I want to
choose a season.
I want to try this in winter.
Am I
going
for
to
6 months?
Do I sit there and like sit at the campfire and go,
What's going on?
It's real time.
What are you doing with the season? Is a great question, Greg.
Yeah.
Like, how is
assume-
that timing?
I
Because
assume it was based on like story progression, maybe, where it's like you're 60% of the way through the game, so it's like.
See, I
winter.
don't think it's going to be.
No?
I think it's going. And this is literally talking out my ass. There's probably a UB Direct happening right now. The developer interview that changed it. But I would think if you're promoting it that way and talking about, well, sometimes the ice will be frozen. I think it's going to be that it would have to be, right? I'd want to see that mission they just showed, like with her at stealth, and see what it looks like in winter. But maybe it'll only be side stuff. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, because they've done seasonal stuff in other games that was more story based. The way that they're talking about this makes it feel like it's going to be a bit more active